All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, call hello, yom la Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Bahashem Machak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule and teach well, where I learned this truth from. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect that believe on this truth and sincerity. It's your brother Yapa Khan coming through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah from the GMS Cleveland branch. Of Lord willing, this be edified. Just want to speak on the many great miseries to come. The many great miseries to come, okay, which that comes from here that I have pulled up, 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. For many, not a few, not a little, not some, but many, okay, for many great miseries, okay, it's going to be a lot, and it's not any type of misery, but it's great, okay, things likened to things that have never been before seen, never been recorded in history, okay, to come. Let's look at the word misery. Well, Salakia, let me look at the word many. Being or consisting of a large number, okay, so it's going to be a large number of different things, okay, to put people in a miserable state. Let's look at the word great. Salakia. Just a quick, simple definition of an extent, amount, or intensity considerably above the normal or average. Intense things. Okay, it's going to be a large number of intense misery. So let's look at the word misery. State of grievous affliction, condition of external unhappiness. It's going to be a large number of intense things to put people in a state of grievous affliction to the point where people gonna be wanting to kill themselves. Just like the video that's going around about the Jake lady said she was losing faith. She think about committing suicide. Okay, it's many more people that feel that way. They just not going about recording themselves and saying it and open up about it. But many people feel like that. Okay. We're in the beginning of sorrows, as Yahweh Shah said, okay, which comes from the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. But back to the word misery, it says a state of grievous affliction, condition of external unhappiness. Majority of the people, when you going about your day-to-day, you're going to see a lot of people looking as if they are not at ease, okay? People look, you can see it in people's face. You can even feel the energy that people are in a state of mourning, okay? The mirth has ceased from Babylon. Okay. You are not in the right state of mind if you still trying to find comfortability here. Okay. As you start to Salakia, once you understand this truth, you must become comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know? Because many great miseries are coming. It says miserable situations, misfortune, distress. Okay. A state or feeling of great distress or discomfort of mind or body. And it's going to be both. People going to be bugged out. They're not going to know what's going on. And those who do, they're not going to be finding ways out of it. Okay. Because the only ones that's going to find a way out of what's to come is the elect of the nation of Israel. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day, start at verse 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Okay. Not of peace. Okay. Not security. The prophets do not prophesy of security. Okay. The Lord is visiting the earth. You know, Salakia, the ultimately, the only ones that's going to be secure is the elect. But even the elect going to be put in situations that's going to have them fearing the Lord even more. Okay, that's going to have them trembling. Why you think the prophets, okay, was troubled in their minds and things of that nature when they had the visions? Because they seen scary things. Ezra said himself, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? He wasn't at peace when he had that vision. But nonetheless, it says, for thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Okay, it says, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to paleness. Because the situation that's about to be coming upon the earth, okay, a man is about to be, a man that doesn't have Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah on his side will be no different from a woman. Okay, and we know women are the weaker vessel. They are more emotional. Okay, but a man that doesn't have the Lord with him is going to be no different from a woman. And we already seeing that all these effeminate niggas, you know. But verse 7 is the point. Alas, for that day is great. Okay, it's going to be intense, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Would you hear that term? You hear that being tossed around a lot within the ministry. Okay, because that's what we're looking forward to. The judgment, ultimately. The Lord is judging the earth, and it's going to intensify. Okay, it's going to be great. Okay, it says, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. They're the only ones that's going to be, okay, secure, so to speak. Let's look up that word secure real quick. Without care or fear, dread and no evil, free from care, quiet, easy. And that's mentally, okay, because you're going to be in situations, and us being in this flesh, you're going to be shaken up. But that's why scriptures say wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Okay. And when it says he shall be saved out of it, speaking of the elect, the remnant. Because when you go to Amos, the 9th chapter, Amos chapter 9 and verse 10, it reads, all the sinners of my people, who is the Lord's people, the nation of Israel, okay, known today as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native, and Seminole Indians. Okay. Them is the Lord's people. And what did the Lord say about his people? Amos 9 and 10. All the sinners of my people would have sinned transgression of the law, which is an act of rebellion against the Heavenly Father, okay, and which is a form of pride, okay. The things that these are the things the Lord is not pleased with, okay. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and in the law is written, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, okay. But it says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, all of them. So when it reads, when you read Jeremiah 37, it says Jacob shall be saved out of, the trouble, so to speak. As I just read, that's speaking of the elect. Okay? Because they're the one that's going to be justified by the blood of Yahweh Shah. That's going to be justified by having faith in Yahweh Shah. It's going to be justified by the things that they do. Okay? Because faith is dead without works. But it says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Okay, and let's read that in NLT, because that's a powerful statement. Amos 9 to 10 in the NLT. But all the sinners will die by the sword. Okay, and the modern day sword being a gun, but we know the sword of the Heavenly Father is Esau Edom. Okay, whether people die, whether people fall victim to what he is doing chemically, with the foods and all the cancers, or whether they die by taking the juice. That's the form of the sword, because it's all stems from Esau Edom. Okay, or whether they literally get shot down, they're gonna perish. Okay, and famine is a part of that sword as well, because this is a engineered famine that's about to come upon the earth. It says, but all the sinners will die by the sword. All those who say nothing bad will happen to us, and that's a powerful statement. But it's a couple articles I want to get into, just mainly the headlines to show that there's many great miseries to come. Okay. This is InfoWars. It says MSM, which is short for mainstream media, prepping Americans to accept collapse of dollar as financial crisis accelerates. This was March 27th. So about a little over a week ago. I've been meaning to get to this, but it's still relevant. Okay. It says they are prepping Americans to accept the collapse of the dollar. Why? Because it's happening. It's going to happen. Okay. And the prophets have accepted it. Lord willing, we be those men. We accept it because the Lord said it's going to happen. It says CNN and Fox News warning the American people to brace, meaning to get ready. Okay. Because ultimately, all roads lead to the charagma, as the saying goes amongst the ministry. The charagma being the Greek word for mark in Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, which that's the tiny technology, the RFID. Okay, which you will need to participate in society. That's why you see the dollar being done away with. Okay, and simultaneously with the dollar being done away with, it's going to be harder for those that dwell upon the earth. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, because the elect should be rejoicing. Okay. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay. Woe meaning death and destruction, grief and sorrow, miseries, sufferings. That's what's coming. Why? Because the devil, okay, which is metaphorically applied to a man or a nation of people that does the bidding of Satan when you go into the word, okay, here in the blue letter, okay, which will be classified today as a so-called Caucasians, but they are the biblical Edomites. Okay, they are the ones behind everything we see taking place. You got all these derailments, okay. I just seen something they were saying majority of the plastic in the ocean come from fishing nets, which is a blatant lie. So the devil is coming down with great wrath, okay. Why? Because he knows that he has but a short time. So that's why they got to crash the dollar. Because their ultimate goal is to have everybody sea-hipped. Okay? Have everybody sea-hipped. And at the recent WEF, the Davos summit in January, Cotton Schwab has said that, him speaking to those that was in the room, the reporters and whatnot, that within, I can't remember if he said about 2020, about 2030, but it was basically what he said was, Salaki, what he said was everybody in the room will have a C-hip in them within the coming years, something along those lines. So for them to transition society from people, because you still got people that use cash. You still got people that prefer to use cash, okay? The majority of the world is not chipped. So for them to be able to do that in a couple years, they're gonna have to rush it, which is gonna lead to them coming down with great wrath. Those who don't want to consent, they're gonna be putting people to death, and they already singling out, conducting studies and tracking and watching people to see who gonna rebel. They already know. They know who watched the videos, and not just necessarily GMS, but anything that opposes the government. You could be watching the truthers, okay? Anything. It's gonna they watching it all, okay? And when they come down with great wrath, it's gonna be miserable, okay, for majority of the people. But it says CNN and Fox News are warning their audiences to brace for the removal of the dollar as the world reserve currency amid other nations shifted to alternative currencies, because you got these other countries that they don't want to use the dollar no more, okay? Which the dollar is losing its value, okay, which it never really had value. Okay. But let's go from there. Well, Salakia. I think it's some more. It's a bear with me, Babu Kushah. Right here it says, I'm gonna start right here. This is basically what they were saying in the video. It says Crowley added that all it would take for the dollar to be removed from world reserve status, because the dollars was used worldwide for transactions between different countries. It says Crowley added that all it would take for the dollar to be removed from world reserve status, leading to the Weimar Republic inflation in America, will be if Saudi Arabia, a major oil producer, joined the BRICS nations, which that's what they're trying to do, along with Iran. And I believe it might be a couple more countries. But nonetheless, it says if that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system, she said. Okay. The land of the proud, so-called home of the free, however the saying goes, okay? It says, and if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, which is termed as hyperinflation. Now, we see inflation, we haven't seen hyperinflation, okay? A loaf of bread doesn't cost $15, $20 yet, but it will, okay? Milk doesn't cost $15, $20 yet, but it will, okay? That's what's coming. It says, and if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky high inflation, just raging, Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. Okay, and we have no choice but to wait because we on Yahweh Shem Shah's time. Okay. But as we wait, we are to do the things that's required and to have faith and to be praying to the Lord, to be fasting, getting closer to Yahweh Shem Shah. Because all that's going to matter in that day is the relationship between you and the Lord, between me and the Lord. Okay. It's another one. It says, this is Press TV. This is on March 31st. It says U.S. economic sanctions backfiring as shown in Iran and Saudi deal. Okay. All the sanctions that America was putting on Russia in different countries is backfiring. Okay. And Russia is not suffering from those sanctions. Okay. Different European countries is suffering. Like in France, for example, they've been protesting for the past couple months, having riots. There's been uproars of the people, which was prophesied in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. Okay. It says, experts say the United States' use of economic sanctions is backfiring as it leads to a look east strategy that was seen when China brokered a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia to resume diplomatic relations. Because these different nations, they starting to come to the realization and agreement that they don't need America, which is going to lead to World War III, which we are in the beginning stages of. Okay. And this is April 5th, which I believe was yesterday. It says BRICS nations, this is InfoWars, BRICS nations developing new currency as quest for global de-dollarization accelerates. This thing is speeding up, you know. And that's the Lord shortening the days. Because if he doesn't, no flesh should be saved, as the scriptures tell you. Let's go to that. It's a lock here. Because if the devil's going to be moving fast, Salakia. Well, yeah, if the devil is moving fast, Yahweh Shah must move fast as well. Which ultimately, the devil moving fast represents Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bashim Shah moving fast, because the Lord creates peace and evil. It tells you that Isaiah 45:7. But let's go to this, Matthew 24. I'm sorry, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Okay, great tribulation. Let's go into the word tribulation. Synonymous with misery, pressing together, pressure. It's a squeeze going on. It's a squeeze. Okay, you got them laying off people. You got the prices being slowly creeping back up. Gas starting to jump back up. Okay, it's a lot going on. But metaphorically, oppression, affliction. Okay, tribulation, distress, straits, difficulties. Okay. People is experiencing it not only external but internal unhappiness. Okay, which goes back to misery. So verse 22, Matthew 24:22, and except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. So it's for the elect's sake that the Lord is speeding up the time, got these devils working faster. Okay, because the elect is fed up with being here. Okay, the men who the Lord commanded to side. Well, who Salakia, I'm just go to it. You know, and I'm gonna close out with this. Matter of fact, you know, just it's a lot going on. You know, just had to put this out there. You know, many great miseries to come. This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, this is the Lord speaking to an angel, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, which Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Okay. And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, which will be the prophets. Okay, and that mark, it goes back to the Hebrew tawa, which means a mark of exemption from judgment, because the Lord's judgment is here on the earth, and his judgment is going to start at his house, according to 1 Peter 4:17, in the house of the Most High, who the nation of Israel. Okay, specifically the ones who know they Israelites. Okay, so judgment, okay, is going to visit, or the Lord will visit a lot of Israelites with judgment, okay, in the form of death. You know, the spirit's created for vengeance, which we read about in Sirach, the 39th chapter. But it says, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, okay? So you got men crying out Why? Because they sick of seeing the things that they see, hearing the things that they hear. Okay? Having to suffer being around these things. Can the Lord hears the cries? Just like he heard in ancient Egypt. Okay? Just like he heard every captivity. When the elect would cry to the Most High, he would hear it. Okay? Have mercy. But this is about to be the greatest form of mercy, you know, or the greatest work of mercy, so to speak, to be performed by the Lord. But verse 5, it says, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. So when the Lord command the death angels to do what they supposed to do, they won't spare. They won't show no pity. Verse 6, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. Okay, those who assigned the crime, who repented, who went back to seeking and serving Yahweh by Shema Shah. Okay, they won't be touched with the different plagues, the different miseries that's about to come upon the earth. It says, slay utterly old and young. Okay, it don't matter if it's your grandma, your great grandma, okay, your baby sister, baby cousin, okay, both maids and little children and women. Okay, women are mentioned here twice. A maid is a woman. Okay, a young woman. It says, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they begin at the ancient men, which were before the house. Okay, so the point being, it happened. Various captivities. The nation of Israel was getting judged horrifically with death, and it's gonna happen one more time. Okay, many great miseries is coming because these people walking in pride. And I'm close out with this Isaiah the second chapter. I don't know if I finish. It's Isaiah 2:11. The lofty looks of man shall be humble, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down. The Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. Because people esteem everything higher than Yahweh by Shema Shah, than the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. Okay, that created the heavens and the earth. People put everything before, okay, Yahweh by Shema Shah. And that's about to be changed. We see it manifesting. Okay, verse 2, for the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. This time of great humbling is near. Many great miseries to come. Lord willing, this was edifying. Salaki for my rambling. I want to say, call Haloyam La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach where I learned this truth from. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect that believe on this truth and sincerity. Till next time, I say, Kwam Yasha Allah, Wama Waf Lababor, Shalom.